This is day 304 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you would like to sponsor upcoming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Reshma Beis again, Chav Ches to Lamed Dalet. And we're still involved in the very basic principles of Hilchot Shabbos. Chav Ches. The status of an unintentional result of your activity, which ends up being malacha, and malacha which is not done for the primary purpose. These are arguments of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon throughout the Shas. Rabbi Yehuda also made Rabbanan. Rabbi Yehuda holds that something which is unintentional result is nevertheless prohibited midrabanan malacha shein tzich legufa chayav chatos, and malacha which is not done for its primary purpose, you're liable for a chatos for it. The having malacha gemara, it's an absolute, real, true malacha. Rabbi Shimon's v'ledovish and miskaven, when the result is unintentional, mutar lechatchila, it's mutar to do it even lechatchila. But malacha shein tzich legufa, malacha shein tzich legufa is patur min Torah, it's exempt midaraisa. Because it's not done in the proper way of Melechas Machsheves Kival Mishkan. The Mishkan shows some Malacha when the Mishkan, when they did a Malacha, they needed the essence of Malacha and its purpose. The purpose which it was designed. Nonetheless. Brackets, Rabbi Yehuda holds its Melechas Machsheves and Melechas Gufa. Why? We can explain he holds that way. In the Mishkan, when they extinguish fire, was that the should not be so much fire that it would burn the herbs for the Kedoros, or and that's a Malacha Shein Tzil Gufa, because you're not diminishing the fire in order to build a new fire. Rabbi Shimon's field the Mishkan, Rabbi Shimon holds no, even the Mishkan, they're very careful not to make too much fire to begin with. And therefore the only way they extinguished fire was in order to make coals, in order to make a new fire. And that is Lagufa, it's a fascinating understanding of the Machlokes Melech Shein Gufa. In fact, it's not so much a svola as to Melechas Machsheves, but rather in the Mishkan there was such a Melacha Mechabe, not for the purpose of making charcoal, but even for the purpose of diminishing the heat under the pot. Chavtes, only Dina in terms of practical halacha, when it's an unintentional result, the Shas Paskins explicitly of Rabbi Shimon. Shomer it says, "Va'ina to feel like Rabbi Shimon, shari afil chatchila." Today we hold like Shimon, it's permitted even chatchila to do Davar Shem Miskabe. I mean, in Malacha Shein Tzich Gufa, but in terms of Malacha Shein Tzich Gufa, lo yivskal yichus halacha is not clearly paskin in Shas. Rabbi saying about the text is V'Raiv, V'Ramban, V'Rashba. Kulam paskin Rabbi Shimon gam Malacha Shein Tzich Gufa. They all paskin Rabbi Shimon also by Malacha Shein Tzich Gufa. Chadamish in the Rava Bereish Perak Noitel say Rabbi Shimon. First, because Rava holds like him. Well, B'Shil Shabbos, I mean the Chulei Shabbos, like Rabbi Shimon. Also, the Masechah Shabbos, it says in all Masechah Shabbos, so it's Rabbi Shimon. And Rambam Perak Avdin Zayin, but the Rambam Pasuk Rabbi Yehuda, Pasuk Rabbi Yehuda, Melech Shein Gufa is also the Raisa. Begam Das Arif Nerken. It seems all the way as well. Tamayu, and the reason is the Fi Klali Hashas, according to the normal principles of the Shas. Rabbi Shimon like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon Machlokes halachos like Rabbi Yehuda. But the Rava says like Rabbi Shimon, even the Rava holds like Rabbi Shimon. Come become Moroi, this feel like Rabbi Yehuda. Nevertheless, the other Moroim hold like Rabbi Yehuda. But furthermore, the Mishnah Kava Rabbeinu Kodesh Mishnah that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi put in a Mishnah explicitly that it's amazed me if you take out a corpse in a byre, in a coffin, you're chayav Rabbi Yehuda, which is Malacha Shein Gufa, because the Gufa would be to take out something because you need it somewhere else. But here, it's you take out something because you don't want it in this place. So that's Malacha Shein Gufa. He made a generic Mishnah as if the many Chacham hold away. It says in all of Shabbos, Rabbi Shimon. It's only about matters of muktzah ayin sham. Brackets. I'm not Yerushalayim Perek Beis L'Rei Degam Rabbi Yossi Stilik Rabbi Shimon. Oh, for Rabbi Yossi also holds Rabbi Shimon. Vade look Rabbi Yossi got Rabbi Yehuda. We'll pass him like Rabbi Yossi over Rabbi Yehuda. The Shasti Lon Lamrav from Beis Deish Machlokas. Rabbi Yossi comments for the Ayin Sham. But according to the Bible, we're not sure what Rabbi Yossi holds. Shalmi Perak Tesla Avav Mashaledi Kaim like Rabbi Shimon Ayin Sham Beduk, and Yerushalmi also seems to say explicitly that halacha is like Rabbi Shimon, which is makes it a bit strange why the Rambam doesn't pass on it, because it's derech passing like Yerushalmi when there's something there which would cause us to rethink the Bavli. Anyway, Lamed, well, what is the Malacha Shein Gufa? We've already been giving some hints, dropping some hints, but here, Kigon Shos Mlechas Isur, you're doing something which is prohibited labor. You don't need it for the purpose of that prohibited labor, but for another purpose. Kigon, such as the classic case, Guma, you dig a hole, and the prohibition is to dig. He doesn't require the hole at all. He needs the dirt. The tzarech legufa, but tzarech leguma. Where's the tzarech legufa? When you need the hole, that's the elbow to put something in there to keep it safe, or lishtamish bo to use it. So to somebody extinguishes a candle. The malacha is the extinguishing. If you need the purpose of the extinguishing, in order to make to make a coal, that's called tzarech legufa. But you don't need a coal. Here actually gacheles is the nair, so it's not the coal, it's the it's easier to light next time. Whatever, you need the black at the end of the wick. Instead of clear, but you're concerned about the oil or the wick or the vessel, it's called that you're not doing it for the right purpose, so to speak. So if you take a thorn, 4 amos and the malacha is the transfer. He doesn't want the thorn, and just remove it from its place. So people should not get hurt by it. Or extinguish a burning coal, so people will not be damaged by it. Have answer legufa. These are all cases of answer legufa. Also, if you trap a snake that it should not bite you, the malacha is the hunting. But he doesn't need the hunting at all. He doesn't want the snake. Similar to all these similar situations. They needed the purpose of malacha, not a different purpose. Even do a labor for which is taka labor, it's taka malacha, but for not the purpose as was done in the Mishkan, which is the primary purpose, that's called malacha shein sugufa. Brackets. Gam Rashi's fielakain bezesh klasa b'mishnah the esameis b'mita. If you take out the dead body in the coffin, bezel shona. Rashi writes malacha shein tzarich elasau kamei olav. It's a malacha which you only need to remove it. It's on a low baslo. If we're up to him, he didn't want to do it at all. Ein sham. Ein ze el hezber. This is only an explanation. Klomar meaning the tachlis hamalacha ein tzorich. He doesn't need a purpose of malacha. V'lo yiratzonu lezeh. Wouldn't want this. But Taisus Dibra Masku Rabbi Shimon Shadikulav Log Dikuk Raka Lashona. There they have a quibble with his language. Abel Kavarim Mivoris, but Rashi's intent is intact, and Taisus does not disagree with that. Lamed Aleph. V'da, you should know them. For some Klal Shas, it's famous in the entire Shas. Avagav the Shem is kaving, even though something which is an intentional result. I feel Rabbi Yehuda Eir Ali said the Rabbanon. Even for Rabbi Yehuda, it's at worst. It is the Rabbanon. Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Shimon is permitted. And that is halacha. It's possible it will happen, possible it won't happen. Very simple example. You tear open a package on Shabbos and it has letters on it. So you try, according to those rules, you can't tear letters. So you try and rip it in a way where the letters are not going to get try and open up where you're not going to rip the letters. So I mean it's a mechika. So if it does rip on letters, that's not a problem because it's davar shein miskaving, and it's not an inevitable result. But where it's an inevitable result, after Rabbi Shimon concedes that it's awesome bida raisa. Is what he's saying several times. Most Rabbi Shimon seek reish lo yamos. Rabbi Shimon concedes In a case where if you cut off the head, you think it's not going to die, the head of a chicken. So therefore, when an inevitable result, like the chicken dying because you cut off the head, you can't say you cut off the head or you get something to play with. That's evidently they used the chicken head instead of balls in the old days. Can't say that because when you cut off the head, it dies. A Rambam Perkal Din Hey. During my time, I saw some Shabbos things you're permitted to do on Shabbos. Shabbos says she also when you do them, Efshir Shetir Sebilam Melacha. It's possible that the Melacha will result. Efshir Shloka says it's possible it will not occur. In one is coming to Melacha, you didn't have a mind to do that Melacha. Raise the mutter is permitted. Kate said, how so? Person can drag a bed, a chair, and a bench, etc. But Shabbos, the bachelor is coming like poor b'chritz b'karka. But Shabbos could also, as long as you don't have mind, to dig a furrow in the ground when you are dragging them. If you're looking for a karka, therefore, if they did dig a furrow, it's not a problem. Vishal is kavit. Doesn't have that in mind. But if you did an act, and the occurred as a melacha, which was an inevitable and definite result, obviously, even though you didn't have that in mind, chayav, you're liable. Because it's well known, it's not possible, and that melacha will not take place. We needed the head of the chicken, like we said, for a child's toy. You cut its head off on Shabbos. Even though this is not your intent is not to kill the bird bilvad. It's not your only intent. Chayev, you're liable. No, you can't cut off the head of something which is alive and will live. I have to see a chicken can run around without a head, but okay, so that's not necessarily the best example. But nevertheless, Elamav's Babi Shalom, death almost never comes. Anything similar, I can't show. Lamed base. There's a big question about this. How can you be liable to psik ratio? Law. If you don't have in mind that this result, so obviously you don't need the end result of this malacha. Wasn't your intent. Can I have the very words it should be a malacha malacha you're not doing for the purpose of that malacha. Here I'm saying about the Shabbos, you have a krisus near the haki perusha. The way he understands is as follows. The Chob sees a whole. There's a Reb Chaim on this. I don't remember what he says offhand, but there is a Reb Chaim on this. The Chob seek ratio is on Sadi the Nichole Chayev. Any seek ratio where it's clear to us that it's Nichole, the result is something which is pleasing to him. He's liable. After Reb Chaim said, even though you don't have that in mind. But Koch having Reb Chaim said, and no, it's if he had kavanah for this directly. Chodan inside the lo Nichole with that anytime. It was clear as he would not be happy with this result. In this case, it's the same as what we sometimes call lo ichbasle. He doesn't care yes or no. Then having melacha shein tzich gufa. Then it can pose parameters lo shein tzich gufa. Shita Arukh, according to the Arukh, kol situation lo nichole. A situation where the result is not something which is pleasing to you. Muta afilu chatchila ayin shamas. Muta even lechatchila. Rashi the Rabbi Shimon the media lo ichase imisrami o lo. The Rashi says, and the question whether lo nichole and lo ichbasle are the same thing or not. Shimon concedes something which doesn't care either way, that it's still asim deraisa. And okay, dafka hefech. That's what the exact opposite. Shaloti asem malacha zu, that this malacha should not take place. Anyway, Reb Chaim holds that the Rambam holds like the Arukh, and that's the difference between Melacha and Tzich Gufa and Psik Reishon Lo Nichole, and based on Reb Chaim was saying the Rambam holds like the Arukh, Reb Simcha Zilzal Zelik was mati refrigerators on Shabbos, even though it's the Psik Reishon that it's going to go on because it's Lo Nichole. It's not just Lo Ichbasle. It's not Lo Nichole. You don't want it to go on because we're using your money and energy, so therefore you're allowed to open it on Shabbos. The name of Simon Shabnosharam the Shabbos. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry. Arash Kabel before Lamgil. Still on base. I said because I had Rabbi Shimon mother made the loich pasle. He was saying lo linking most of the okay, yeah, we did that. Okay, if you Lamgil, the name of Simon Shabnosharam the Shabbos. Rabbi Avraham was asked this question. She was saying Rambam Loshen Hazeh, and he answered the name of the Rambam. My freshman Lochshen Tzich Gufa Bem Sikresha. What's the name of Lochshen Tzich Gufa Bem Sikresha? The guy with secret, you don't have mind malacha at all. Elishima said, it's just inevitably going to happen. Going to say the Sagar Pesach Beso, such as when you close the opening to your house, V'yashim Tzviyin, there was a deer behind the door. Shu Lo Kiven Lishmer Satzvi, he didn't have mind to catch the deer. It has to happen as a result. That's a psik ratio. You have in mind the malacha itself. But you don't want it's the purpose, which is not the purpose of malacha. What the Rabbi Avram and Rambam meant, people had grave difficulty with. Didn't see any good explanation. Lamadal, Nias Daiti near the Indian king. Udugma. This is the way to explain it. But in mitzvahs, yesh poskim should see kavana. Some people say mitzvahs require kavana. You have to intend to do the mitzvah in order to be yotze. Yesh poskim who say the avik she'en miskaven, even if you don't intend the mitzvah, yotze the avik miskaven. It's as if you were mechaven. Come, nevertheless, in miskaven shalola says. If you have kavana not to be yotze the mitzvah, how come odim she'en yotze? Everybody agrees you're not yotze in that case. Chenem lechel Shabbos. This is also true about the Melech Shabbos. The Vada Be'inon, Kshe'oisam Melacha Asur Yechavin La. When you do the Melech which is forbidden, you have to have Kavanah to do it. Vera Kavanah Ma'akiv. But the Kavanah is not an impediment. You can't ask the Kol Melechas Yom Hashem Mechavin Lazeh. Because otherwise, you do all Melechas that say you were Mechavin to it. Elavadai, certainly, Kshafilu said, Below Kavanah Melacha Klau, you do without intent for Melacha at all. Okay, which also Kederach HaMelacha. Since he's doing the way the malacha is normally done, Ma Moil had their kavanah also. Doesn't matter, he didn't have kavanah. But Be'achrech kavanah also naseis, because it's going to happen whether he had kavanah or not. Zeu inyan have psik ratio. That's psik ratio. I mean, be'emes mechavin la malacha. But if you did have a mind to malacha, also so we should tachlis acher. It's for a different purpose. No, it's not stam. It's for a different purpose altogether. Having come on mitzvah, let's say it's like by a mitzvah, we have mind not to be yosef. Here too, you can't say it's like he's mechaving, even though it might emerge from the malacha if he had stamdas that it was as if he was mechaving, but he has kavanah hafchis, he has antithetical kavanah, then you can't say he's mechaving to do the malacha. Yes, he has kavanah. But it's kavanah for another purpose. Not for the essential prohibited malacha. But say that's feed everyone in capturing a deer, she ain't misguided in the klum, but he doesn't have in mind anything. Rosh overly tzchich cotton so to the head of a chicken, but he has in mind for the toy for the child. Ain't misguided in the klum, he doesn't have in mind anything. Masha ain't kain hachayfer guma, as opposed to somebody who digs a hole. He only needs the dirt. He definitely has in mind to dig. But for a different purpose than the primary purpose of the malacha. Final tachlis offer for the purpose of the dirt. But by the capturing the deer, he doesn't have mind to capture all. He doesn't when he cut off the chicken's head for the kid to play with. He doesn't have mind to kill it all. The gorat fei. But it's like stam kavanah. It makes it worse because it's not antithetical kavanah. Because no matter what, the malacha is going to happen, and therefore it's as if you have a kavanah. Brackets. The psik ratio. Those say that in case of psik ratio, kosher muchal chasos and they psik ratio, usher. Anything which must happen through a psik ratio is forbidden. Psik ratio as mutar psik ratio. It's not necessarily going to happen. That's mutar psik ratio. I'm not sure why that's called a psik ratio. If it's not mukhrach. I don't understand it. Okay, I don't know what it means, but it's something to do with whether psik ratio will necessarily occur or not necessarily occur. But the main chiluk, which Arukh HaShulchan says is the difference between what type of kavanah you have. There's kavanah to do the actual malacha, that's classic malacha. There's kavanah to do the malacha but for a different purpose, that's malacha she'ezich legufa. And there's no kavanah. So the malacha comes in heavily, and that is a psik ratio, which is worse.